Middle of Nowhere's demo is something that piqued my interest from its very opening. Seconds into my first playthrough, I was charging unrelentingly into an invisible wall in a vain attempt to distance myself from the massive fuck-off spiders you happen to spawn near. After eventually summoning the wits to sprint in a less logical direction, I soon fell victim to a Claymore and died. Several more deaths gave me just enough assurance that this was only a game to face the spiders knife in hand, and as it turns out, like all giant video game spiders, they exist more to haunt your every moment both waking and sleeping than they do to test your combat skills. The animation of their movement is brilliantly unnerving, although the collision detection could use some work. With that cleared, I should mention that Middle of Nowhere is a survival horror from VisionArts. As such, I approve of things like the minimal overlay, the limited weapon inventory, the ability to build fires and shelter to heal, and the variation of day and nighttime depending on which zone you're in, to give a sense of a continuous cycle of time. A couple of things confused me, such as the reasoning behind collectible skulls being the source of skill points, and the explosive capabilities of a knife in comparison with the apparently antiquated invention that is the gun. I also encountered some first-person platforming, which remains, as ever, an exercise in making the seemingly possible impossible, but my main gripe was with the Claymores. Upon encountering them, you're presented with a choice: sprint through them and dodge the blast, try to shoot them from a distance and expend most of your ammo, or crawl up to them, hit them with your knife, and remain unscathed as they blow up in your face. You can't disarm them, which I find odd, as you spawn with Claymores of your own that you know how to activate. There are other niggles. It's reasonably difficult to pick up some objects, some messages overlap, and the demo crashes upon exit. The graphical options don't work, but they promise a decent range of settings for the full game. But these complaints don't really amount to much. There's not much to say for the narrative. You see a shiny thing across a gap that's clearly a gun, and collect planks to bridge the gap. You then cross the gap, and bask in the revelation that the gun is a gun, and as such, inferior to your knife. But it's unfair to judge this demo as a small taste of a larger game, because it's more a collection of potential systems and features, none of which have been fully developed yet. No single aspect of the gameplay leapt out at me, but the game very quickly established a tense and unnerving atmosphere that stayed for the whole experience, and in a well-lit environment no less. This game could really use some more attention, so feel obliged to visit its Kickstarter and Greenlight pages, play the demo, and back its campaign if you get a kick out of it like I did.